hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. O Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the Indian section. We are studying the Mahatma letters, and today we have with us the national lecturer, Brother N.C. Krishnan. He will be conducting the study on Mahatma letter number 43. Brother N.C. Krishnan, he joined the Theosophical Society when he was only 16 years old. He is a qualified chartered accountant and settled at Hyderabad. He says that he owes everything to his maternal grandfather, who by his example has inspired him to join the Theosophical Society. Brother N.C. Krishna, he was the secretary of Rayalaseema Theosophical Federation, and now he is one of the council members of the Indian section, that is the executive committee member. And he is also the national lecturer. So I welcome Brother N.C. Krishna, and I request him to begin the session.
Yes, good evening, Madam Vibhaji and Pratipji, wherever he is, Calcutta or wherever he is situated right now. We are going to consider letter number 43 according to the Barker edition, which is commencing from page 255 and ends on 259. So that's the letter which we're going to consider. And since I have that book like other people have, just to understand the background, I'm referring to the reader's guide and would like to share what the information they have given, Virginia Hansen and George E. Lynch, in that book. So they say the physical description of the letter, because they have seen these letters in the museum, British Museum. The letter is appearing in red ink, 3 full-size sheets of white paper. Writing on 2 of the papers is written diagonally across. This is what the information given by George E. Linton and Madam Virginia Hansen as far as the physical description goes. And then it has been signed by Master M, who has written this letter, and the signature is slightly different. That's what the remark is. And circumstances are as similar to the one which were there when the letter was written, numbered 42, APS in Allahabad and founders in Bombay, and KH still resting, maybe in his retreat. So that's how the background is. And then we'll quickly go through the gist of the letter and then perhaps take up the commentary on the points which are mentioned as important and those which were perhaps considered worth mentioning by me too. So the gist of the letter number 43, because it's a very longish one. Master M is upset with the way Mr. APS and AOH are conducting themselves. APS is in correspondence with them, but the behavior of AOH, that is AO Hume, is something which is disturbing the peace and tranquility of even masters. So Master M is upset with them and he says, especially APS wanted all the instructions. He wanted all the instructions on the subject of occultism directly in one installment, in one go, and not through letters which will come, and a portion of that will be related to occultism. And even these letters are not being directly received by them, and they have been conveyed or relayed through their agents and correspondents. And so these are all the objections or remarks which APS has against people who are trying to help him out. Right. This is one side of it. And M begins by chiding, by maybe using bit strong words. AP Senate calls him as impulsive, and also has written certain words about Evo Hume. So by going through that, what M wrote, we can understand the nature of AOH. By what the words that were used by Master M, we can understand what AOH or Evo Hume is doing. So that's perhaps gives an indication. Evo Hume and APS Senate doubted the existence of masters because they were, to begin with, doubting Thomases, no doubt about it. So both Hume and Senate doubted the existence of masters. So they used the expression mythical brothers in their letter. They used the expression mythical brothers in their letter. So the attitude of APS, short form for AP Senate, was disturbing, and to the extent that Master M was not able to have his supper in peace. That's what he says in the letter. Words used in letters that were addressed were not perhaps all that kind. Master M calls APS as an impatient person, an impulsive person, an impatient person. Added to that, Master observes the work of the Simla Eclectic Theosophical Lodge was not up to the mark, thanks to the work of Mr. A.V. Hume. And it would affect perhaps the parent society. That's the remark Master has made. M says A.V. Hume did not take the criticism of the pamphlet rightly or objectively, and his reactions towards Masters was bordering on violence. Master KH, it was said, is ready to continue the correspondence, but lot depended on what APS and AOH will do, what they will do, how they will respond. Depending on that, perhaps Master KH would continue to correspond with them. That's what M says, Master M says. A lot depends on you. So M instructs Mr. Senate, if he has to get on with the study of occult subject or occultism, he has to grow beyond personality. So personal elements should be put aside, and at least for certain time to start with, they should put aside personal details and social affections. They have very little bearing on the duties of adepts. That's what Master M says. So adepts themselves, some of them are trying to evolve better, and they're moving towards perfection by putting aside their personal fancies, or for that matter, the antipathies if they have. So masters keep out only, we all know masters keep only the welfare of humanity in their heart. They work for the entire humanity. Master M remarks, KH having accepted these two, or accepted to write to Mr. AP Senate, he is accepted to share the wisdom through correspondence, and he will do it. That's what he has assured them, and says, for helping you out with the subject and familiarizing with you with the subject, occultism, KH has to face whatever befalls on him, because he has decided that he would share the wisdom with APS and familiarizing is giving more details on occultism to AP Senate. So familiarity with the subject is what KH promised to AP Senate. So whatever he's doing and the consequences KH has to face is what Master M is saying. M says we have nothing to do with what is visible. We have nothing to do with what is visible. And the so-called personality, as we know the philosophical parlance, masters are concerned more with the ego, more with the permanent factor or factors in us, the Atma Buddhi Manas. They're not really bothered about the personality or the lower quality. Master M says, asking AP Senate to attend the Bombay meeting was a small trial by itself. And by not attending, AP Senate has actually lost an opportunity and has failed. And he says, Master says, we don't force or induce anyone, especially to make or choose for them what somebody should do. So he says, we are not going to force anyone or induce anyone. So we leave it to you whether you would like to do. And more such trials may be coming your way. So be wise and do what you think is best. That's what the advice he has given. And Master says, after testing the moral courage and pluck and the discretionary powers which the correspondents and proteges have, then they start placing their confidence in them. So the time is not right for the masters to completely trust these two, or at least AP Senate, and make them chelas. So Master M says AP Senate is also a victim of Maya, illusion. So he wants him to realize whatever he thinks about Evo Hume is also part of illusion, Maya. So Evo H, according to Master M, as things stood at that point of time, was not fit enough for occult research, as he doesn't hold anything as sacred. He doesn't realize and he doesn't accept anything as sacred. So Evo Hume is not well disposed to even KH. Mr. AP Senate also has his reservations, and Evo H, meaning Hume, is not all that well disposed to Master KH and also Madam H.P. Blavatsky. And he was troubling them quite a bit. And Master says, don't be fooled by appearances, warns Master M. Because if you think the appearance of someone is very, very attractive or good as far as you are concerned, maybe that is not going to lead you in the right way. So don't be fooled by appearances is one of the warnings given by Master Yang. They have not taken you as Chela, and this was notified to you, is Master M. So he was very clearly told that Master M notified this, and it was Damodar who has perhaps conveyed it, or it could be Jwalakul and Damodar together who have perhaps conveyed this information to AP Senate, saying that he is not being still accepted as Chela or as a disciple. And AP Senate, being a Britisher, being a very formal person and one who cares for cleanliness and all that, he was caring too much for that personal appearance, external cleanliness, etc. So APS Senate is not able to see what is really good and what is the true nature and qualities of Mr. Bennett. So going by his standards, AP Senate standards, Master says he will not approve, he will not pick any of the lamas who have evolved and who have been or become masters or about to become masters. So he judges people by the appearance. So that's not something which master wants it. Bennett and others are morally far superior, declares Master M. Bennett and others are morally far superior, declares Master M. Master M says Jesus saved a lady of easy virtue. So we have to see the real person and not what exactly is described or what he is in this world as such. So Jesus himself has done that. You are not able to see the valuable interior of a person. You're not able to see the valuable. Master M says, this is a very beautiful sentence, moral smell as well as physical smell. There is a moral smell as well as a physical smell. Master M says this. There is a moral smell as well as a physical smell. Don't just go by your physical smell. Don't just go by physical smell. Master says to Sinnett that he has no malice or hatred and there is no bitterness which is holding when he's writing strongly to him. We are pointing out these so that you can mend your life. This is what Master says. We are pointing out all these so that you can mend your life and come nearer to the Masters. Our talking should enable you to change. Our talking should enable you to change. I talk to you as a friend, says Master M. So you are wanting to know or study occultism. It has a trace of selfishness. So it's not to know that and perhaps talk about saying that I know a bit of occultism. That's not the reason, or perhaps to brag about it. So Master observes that A.P. Sinnett wants to study, and in that study of occultism, the desire to study occultism, there is a trace of selfishness. So he still wants, you trust Hume and you don't treat Master KH and Master KH and Madam Blavatsky with reverence, and you still seem to be doubting Master KH. By not exercising discretion, he has mixed feelings. That's the term used. A.P. Sinnett has mixed feelings about Master KH. By not exercising discretion, by betraying the trust HPB had put in you, you are gathering bad karma by publicizing all that which was confidential. So Master says you have earned bad karma by giving undue publicity for what HPB has chosen to speak to you in confidence. So you are responsible for your actions, like everybody is responsible for their actions to earn karma, bad or good. Master M says, get rid of Maya. All occult students are warned all over the world not to get involved with Maya, illusion. Don't go after, don't hanker after phenomena, spiritualism, or go after spiritualists. This is a warning Master M is giving to Mr. Sinnett. Choose wisdom. Choose wisdom. Every other thing will follow you, will follow that. Choose wisdom and everything else will follow that wisdom. This is what he has told Mr. Fully, if you get letters from us directly. Don't ever imagine that because you are not getting the letters directly, will not be proved right only if you get letters from us directly. If what we say is not right, no wonder, no miracle would correct it. So it will not alter that. So have that conviction and let us talk, correspond sensibly, is Master M. So getting to understand occultism and obtain wisdom is a lifelong process, says Master M. The task is difficult. Like food, wisdom need to be well digested. The process is thorough and slow. And saying some more words and quoting some poems, he signs off. This is the gist of the letter. And then I was told when I was young, though the letter is addressed to Epicynet, the remarks are supposed to be related to Epicynet. We need to examine whether these remarks pertain to us, whether we need to take a corrective action. So, from that point of view, the commentary is going to be from that point of view. Master calls APS, that is Epicynet, as an impulsive friend or impulsive person, a person who takes sudden, quick decisions. As I said, though these words are addressed to Cynet, we can relate to them ourselves personally, and what we should be is something which we need to very carefully consider. A person wanting to be a disciple cannot be impulsive. He has to carry on with his life slowly and methodically and steadily. So, cut off impulsive behavior is the message to all aspirants. Then, M talks not to judge both of them, that is, him and Master KH. Epicynet and Avio Hume used to refer to the masters as mythical brothers. They were only myth, according to them. They wanted to see the masters physically. They wanted to see the masters physically with their eyes. Because they are not able to see and masters are not appearing before them, these letters and these addressing by these APS or Avio Hume as mythical brothers has occurred. So, what is more important is to go nearer to the consciousness and not understand or not try to understand how they look like. I think that is not all that relevant. In fact, some of the pictures or photographs we have access to as things stand today, they have been only drawn according to the verbal description given to the artist. So we really don't know whether they look like that. So getting to know the master physically, whether he's tall or short or thin, or that's not at all relevant. So this is something which perhaps we need to note when we go through that letter. And we need to have that full faith. We can't be doubting their presence. We can't be doubting their existence. We need to have full faith and belief in the existence of masters. When we doubt their presence, how can they appear? How can they teach us? So this is something perhaps all the people who are serious students of theosophy, they're taught. And first thing which they would ask them to go through is Masters in the Path, written by CWL. Okay, some of the descriptions might be different as things stand today, but that gives you a very good description about the work they have. Master M is asking Epicynet not to judge either of them, himself or KH. He also instructs, don't bother about our physical attributes. This we have covered. Next, the suggestion and direction given by Master M is not to bother or form judgments of their physical details. Then the next point, Master M follows it up and says, Epicynet, you go by your worldly experience, or you will never be able to come at the truth. If you want to arrive at truth and use the worldly experience, you can never reach truth, is the message given by Master M. So this is, we will do well, of course, note this, with our normal way of worldly life, with all the selfish interests we may have, motives which we have, with which we work, we'll never be able to get closer to them or get to know the truth. So we have to be different. We have to go to their world. It's not that they come to our world. We have to go to their world, and we have to remove, eschew selfishness completely and try to raise our consciousness to a higher level. So this is one direction which I get from this letter. All this I'm relating to myself, and I guess that's the best way to put it forward. Our usual way we act and think, we do actually, and doing a particular thing seems to be disturbing the masters. Master M says this about A.P. Sinnett, eating his supper quietly, and his words which he has used have even haunted him in sleep. That's what the expression of the letter says. So we should be careful how we think about them, what sort of work we are doing, whether we are doing work which is not conducive to our getting nearer or our getting any blessing from the masters. So this is something which we need to keep in our mind. Master M is asking Sinnett not to be impatient. He has called him impulsive. Now he's asking not to get impatient. A.P. Sinnett, Master says, has a lot of time to correspond and know what he has to know. That is the subject which you wanted to know, occultism. Here we get the message that a person who wants to be a disciple cannot be impatient. He has to approach the powers that be with a lot of reverence and patience, wait patiently, and be cheerful. And these two must be the watchwords. Patience and cheerfulness must be the watchwords of all the disciples or people who are likely to be disciples. Then Master M says, Simla eclectic notch is not working well, thanks to A.W. Hume, and there are dark clouds which can impact the parent Theosophical Society. So we need to also review how we are working in our lodges, whether it has an impact on the Theosophical Society as such, whether our lodges are working spasmodically or there are undercurrents which are not all that helpful to form the nucleus of universal brotherhood. So we need to be careful about this. A.W. Hume is causing a lot of disturbance and creating tension, creating tense atmosphere. A.O.H. Hume is called as too intellectual friend because he imagines that he is very intelligent. So Master says he imagines that he is very intellectual. So sometimes thinking that we are also doing an excellent job, we might think that we are very intelligent, but we need to be humble. We need to be having the clarity to be remaining as a simple person while doing the work which is assigned to us or which we take up in the lodge. We have to watch out. We shall not project ourselves as the most intelligent and most well-informed persons. Humility should be a way out. Humility should be our way out. So this is very important, I guess, when we go through this remark about the intellectual friend, which Master M has talked about, A.W. Hume. A.P. Sinnett was very critical of masters. If it was with A.W. Hume's power, he would have destroyed them. This is the description given. So wild was his behavior. Master M says he didn't praise on the pamphlet which they have produced. Maybe that was the mistake. If I had praised him, maybe the result would have been different. Master says we should note for ages, teachers and masters don't praise their disciples, as that would thwart the spiritual progress. Master says we should note for ages, teachers and masters, they have not praised their disciples. So the continue the progress of the students or the disciples. Master M says he will write as if he is an elementary spirit, because the way he is destroyed, then he says, I will write like a booth. So this is the expression given in the letter. So he is writing like an elementary spirit, like a booth, using the English language, which A.O. Hume thinks he has got plenty. So A.O. H. Hume also has been described as he has also been called an impatient person. Master M says Master KH will resume correspondence. If Hume spoils the situation beyond repair, the correspondence might stop. So, if advice or instructions are not forthcoming from the higher ones, if advice or instructions to us are not forthcoming from the higher ones, it may be due to our fault, our not preparing our hearts, or we are lacking in our preparation to make our hearts receive such instructions or advices. So, to be able to receive such instructions or advices, we have to make our hearts pure. We have to remain unselfish. Perhaps that's the only thing which they keep looking at. An important instruction comes our way. You must thoroughly put aside the personal element. If you would get on with occult study, if you want to get on with occult study, you should be able to put aside the personal element. If occult study has to happen, all thinking about how we feel elated at our personal achievements should come to an end. If we want occultism, if we want to be the students of occultism, we sometimes feel elated at our personal achievements and growth. That should come to an end. That should not be. If that is there, maybe we can't travel in the direction in which occultism wants us to travel. The instructions is not given to the personality, but it is given to the ego, the soul. So all that is personal or personality oriented has to be dropped. Master M tells Sinnett, you should put AOH also aside. If you want to progress, Master M says to Sinnett that you should put A.O. Hume also aside, because he is misguiding you. And Master also says our social affections have little, if any, to control any action of a true adept while discharging or performing their duties. So social effect, they don't go by social recognition or social affections, they go strictly by eligibility. So the self-importance or the importance earned in our social life and the affiliations we form, the affections we develop, we have to realize that they have nothing. They will not be impressed. Masters will not be impressed. They are only impressed by the eligibility which the disciple should develop, should have, so that the process is smooth. Master goes strictly based on disciple eligibility. This is to be noted. This is to be understood. Master goes strictly based on the disciples' eligibility. It is in the ordinary world, the social status may be conferring certain advantages. The spiritual world, all this social recognition is not having any relevance or use. The adept seeking perfect adeptship also is trying his best to put aside fancies and antipathies, so that antipathy is feeling of dislike that is not going to be there in a master's consciousness, but people who are evolving, that's what master says. So they have to be weakened in proportion in which these fancies or these antipathies get weakened, their progress is going to be that much better. So we take a cue from this and strive, if we want to the good disciples, to like all, hate none, and drop all unnecessary craving or fancies, or don't have any antipathy whatsoever. So this is perhaps the cue here. Adults, when they have to grow like that, we also need to tread that path. Master has no choices. He doesn't pick and choose. He has the same attitude for all the eligible disciples. He goes by the disciples' eligibility, as we have said the earlier statement. He has the same disposition towards all the humanity. He has only that kind nature, and he works for the welfare of humanity. Master M says, A.P. Sinnett and A.O. Hume have forced themselves on Master K.H. and K.H. having accepted them, whatever may be the methods adopted by APS and AOH. KH has to carry on working with you. So he will continue to work with you, but a lot depends on how you treat and how you behave. Master M says, we have nothing to do with the visible. Master says, we have nothing to do with visible, that is personality. Master M says, we are concerned with the ego or the evolution of the ego and the progress of Atma Buddhi and Manas. Master M is saying, neither they are pleased or displeased that they did not attend the Bombay meeting. That was a trial, and A.P. Sinnett has failed. And some more trials may be coming their way, and he has to be wise. This is the instruction. So we might in our course of life, we might have to, we do not know whatever is coming our way is a trial, is something being tested, our mettle being tested, our intentions being tested, our motives being tested. We need to verify. We need to very, very closely observe and do all that comes our way with a lot of patience, cheerfulness. So this is something which we need to develop, taking the cue from what he has talked to A.P. Sinnett. So that was a trial, he said. Master says, we don't completely trust even our correspondents or agents or proteges whose discretion or moral pluck have not been well tested. Pluck is courage or the discretionary powers. If they are not being used well by our proteges or correspondents and agents, we don't place our confidence in them. So watch out. Why we're not able to trust you? So that's the, so we have to perhaps develop this quality also. Master is saying, Master M is saying to APS that you are affected by Maya, illusion. It is tough to get out of the grip of Maya. He says to tear away the cataracts. So your eyes are blinded, eyes are not able to see the actual light. So Master says to APS, tear away the cataracts and see things as they are. And Hume, the influence he has on you also is a great Maya. So you are carried away by his external personality and intellect. I'm asking you, requesting you to see his true self, that you are not able to see is a problem. So you choose what you want to do. His position in society is not helpful. Maybe he's a very influential person. That's not going to help the cause. So choose what you want to do. Be very careful how you would like to be, but get rid of Maya. Even getting rid of perhaps Evo Hume is suggested here because he is not fitting into the scheme of things. And Evo Hume, with his qualities, is not fit to be a student of occultism or do occult research. So we can't trust him with our secrets, the occult science. Master M says, if we want publicity, we can write an article in the Theosophist. We don't have to depend on his magazine, or we don't have to do anything to bring recognition. If we want that sort of recognition, we could have easily written an article in the magazine Theosophist. There's nothing sacred in what AOH is doing or saying. He's leading a very ordinary life, socially important life though, but he is in a mood to destroy all that is existing in the name of his achieving material progress. He is out to harm all of us, me, KH, Madam Blavatsky, and you, and with his disbelief wants to destroy all of us. There is dichotomy in him. Master M says, we want to teach pupils, learners, not to be befooled by appearances. He says disciples are taught not to be fooled by appearances. The learners not to be befooled by appearances, not to get misled by the external appearances. You have been told by Damodar through Dwarakul that we did not take you as a chela. So this is also something which he has said. And you may see Mr. Bennett as unkempt, unclean, etc. But if that external cleanliness is the yardstick you have, Master M says, you will not be able to tick or approve any of the wonderful lamas or adepts. You are blind to the actualities. This is what M says. You are blind to the actualities. You are seeing the superficial. Bennett has suffered unjustly, yet he has kind, unselfish heart. If he were to die now, he will get more tears than anybody else. So this is a Christian reference Master has quoted here. This is what the letter says. Bennett, though appearing not so clean, is morally superior to Hume, who looks spick and span like an English gentleman. Bennett is an honest man and an unselfish man, has tremendous moral courage and ready to lay down his life for truth, become a martyr. So KH loves Bennett, says Master M. Master M also directs AP Senate to look into the heart of the person and not to judge Bennett by the external appearance. And the Lahore youth, there is a reference to Lahore youth. Master KH wanted him to change his dress, appearance, and then go to Mr. Sinnett because Sinnett gives a lot of importance to the external appearance. M assures that he has no malice, hatred, or bitterness when he is saying what all he has to say to Mr. Sinnett. And he acknowledges progress which Sinnett has made, and some more work has to go in this direction, is what he has said. AP Sinnett has a tinge of selfishness when he wants to study occultism. So that has to go. You don't seem to accept KH completely. You have your mixed feelings about him. So this is something, and both you and Hume don't seem to be agreeing or accepting Master KH, though he is spending so much of time to correspond with you. M warns, Master M warns, the bad karma will accrue to you because you have not kept the confidence which HVB had and shared certain details. Then Master M says, break through Maya. Master M instructs, directs AP Senate to get through or break the veils of Maya. Don't run after phenomena. Occult students all over the world have been warned by their teachers to keep away from these practices of spiritualism. Like thirst for opium drink is not going to end with gratification. The spiritualists are also drunk and immersed in phenomenal and spiritualistic practices. So he says that's not to be done. Keep away from spiritualism. And to learn our philosophy, says Master M, you should leave phenomena and spiritualism. If you want to correspond with us, learn our healthy philosophy and associated thought. Let us do it. You should move away from spiritualism and phenomena. This is a clear direction he has given to Sinnett because he was trying to find out whether that spiritualistic practices is going to suggest what occultism is all about. Master M says he is conveying a profound truth. If AP Sinnett chooses wisdom, if AP Sinnett chooses wisdom, during the course of time, all other things will accrue and get attached to that wisdom. So you go up with the desire to get wisdom. Don't do anything else. Don't go after the practices which I have asked you to keep away. So this is what he says. So along with the wisdom, with the course of time, everything else will start accruing to it. And then Master M tells Sinnett, only if the letters fall directly into your lap or under the pillow, you're going to trust us. Is that what you want to convey? So that's not the way. That's not the way we work. So he says it will not come directly to you. So if our philosophy is wrong by any chance, no miracle of this nature will correct it. So we work only this way. We work through our agents. We work through our proteges or correspondents. Take this into your consciousness, says Master M. Let me retire now because I have written a very long letter. I have other duties to perform. For the present, I will stop, he says. In the closing remarks, M says, knowledge is for the mind. Knowledge is for the mind, just as food is for the body. So he says, you have to take both and digest both. Digest both. So you simply can't be in a hurry to get all this what you want. So knowledge and wisdom, knowledge actually meaning wisdom, and food, both serve the purpose of keeping the body or keeping the mind in the right direction. So do it, digest it well, and live with it. So this is the most important thing, he says. But you have to be very patient, do it thoroughly and slowly, he says. You have to do it thoroughly and slowly. Even digesting or understanding anything, you have to do it thoroughly and slowly. The process is carried out is better both for the body and the mind, and it's a long haul. It's not something which you can do in a jiffy, in a small fraction of a second or a minute or in a day or two. It's a long journey. This is what Master M says to Mr. Sinnett. So whatever remarks which we find in the letter, say for example, impulsive or impatient or not being with the wisdom and things like that, and caring more for personality or caring for the social affections, because it is said these AP Sinnett did not attend the Bombay meeting because he had to take care of his wife and child. So we have to make a choice. We have to use our discretionary power. So he says all these references, he has talked about the qualities which are expected in any individual is perhaps what is getting mentioned in this long letter. And let us think very carefully what are the things which we would take it into our lives and make our lives more wholesome and more worthy of their considering us at least as elementary disciples, if not any other advanced disciples or anything like that. We need to be somewhere near their consciousness. We have to work for that after all. We have to move from where we are to their world, from where we are to their world. So with these remarks, I put an end to the presentation which I have made on this letter number 40. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Krishnaji, for your extremely clear and crisp explanation on this letter. And now, before I invite the participants for any questions, I would request Sister Meenakshi to summarize the letter in Hindi. Meenakshi ji, please.
Namaste. Namaste, brother. Thank you, sister. महात्मा लेटर नंबर 43, यह पत्र मास्टर एम द्वारा एपी सिनेट को लिखा है। यह काफी महत्वपूर्ण पत्र है। मास्टर एम सिनेट को अधीर उतावला कहकर संबोधित करते हैं। मास्टर सिनेट से कहते हैं कि हमारे बीच के पत्र व्यवहार आगे बढ़ने से पहले वे एक सच्चा वादा चाहते हैं। मास्टर्स के बारे में, उनकी स्थिति के बारे में, उनके संघ से संबंधित बातें, उनके बाह्य रूप के बारे में अपने भौतिक दृष्टिकोण से काल्पनिक राय न बनाए। इस तरह आप सत्य के करीब न आ पाएंगे। मास्टर कहते हैं कि हमारे साथ पत्र व्यवहार करने के लिए आपके पास संपूर्ण जीवन है, फिर इतनी अधीरता क्यों? मास्टर केएच का आपसे नाता तोड़ने का कोई इरादा नहीं है, वह आपको भूले नहीं है, लेकिन ह्यूम परिस्थिति को अत्यधिक बिगाड़ न दे जिसके सुधार की कोई गुंजाइश ही न रहे तब तक। आपने हमारे उद्दिष्ट के लिए बहुत कुछ किया है। ह्यूम का सीनेट पर काफी प्रभाव था। फिर वह एक विनोद भी करते हैं ह्यूम पर कि ह्यूम का आचरण और मास्टर्स के प्रति उनके विचार, इस पर मास्टर एम विनोद करते हैं कि एक सामान्य आलोचना पर ह्यूम हमें तो मार ही देता, पश्चाताप करने का समय भी न देता। यदि हम चतुराई से, विवेकता से उनके ऊपर प्रशंसापूर्ण भजन गाते तो शायद हम लंबे समय तक जीवित रहते, ज्ञानी न सही चुस्त दुरुस्त रहते, और उनमें हमें हमारे वेद व्यास दिखते जो निर्जन संपा नदी के किनारे कृष्ण अर्जुन की दिव्य गाथा सुनाते। गूढ़ शास्त्र के अध्ययन हेतु आपको अपने स्व केंद्रितता, व्यक्तिमत्व से संपूर्णतः विलग होना पड़ेगा और कुछ निश्चित काल के लिए ह्यूम से भी अलग रहना होगा। एक सच्चे अरहत को अपने कर्तव्य पालन पर बाहरी सामाजिक स्नेह भाव का कोई असर नहीं होता। जब वह अरहत पद के पूर्णत्व की ओर विकास करता है, उसके व्यक्तिमत्व के पसंद नापसंद क्षीण हो जाते हैं। उसके हृदय में संपूर्ण मानव जाति के लिए एकत्व की भावना रहती है। आपके बाहरी दृश्य स्वरूप व्यक्तिमत्व का हम पर कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ता। वह तो भौतिक आंखों पर पड़ा एक पर्दा है जो आंतरिक स्वरूप को छिपाता है, जिसके विकास से हम संबंध रखते हैं। बाहरी रूप में आप चाहे जैसा व्यवहार करें, चाहे जैसा सोच विचार करें, लेकिन इस स्वेच्छापूर्ण किए गए कार्यों का दुष्प्रभाव हमारे ऊपर पड़ता है तो निश्चित ही हम उस ओर ध्यान देंगे, विचार करेंगे। बॉम्बे में हुई थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी की वार्षिक मीटिंग में आपकी अनुपस्थिति से हम प्रसन्न या नाराज नहीं हैं। उसमें शामिल होने से आपकी पात्रता में उन्नति ही होती, लेकिन वहां न जाने से आप उससे वंचित हो गए। चूंकि आप चेला नहीं है, मुझे आप पर अपना प्रभाव डालने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है। बॉम्बे के वार्षिक मीटिंग में शामिल होना या अपने परिवार के बारे में विचार करना, यह आपका एक छोटा सा इम्तिहान था। सीनेट बॉम्बे अपने परिवार से मिलने गए थे जो इंग्लैंड से जनवरी 6 को आए थे। वार्षिक मीटिंग 12 जनवरी को थी, लेकिन 8 जनवरी को वे अपने परिवार सहित बॉम्बे से निकल गए। मास्टर कहते हैं कि आपके जीवन में कई ऐसे इम्तिहान आएंगे। आप हमारे चेला नहीं, फिर भी हमारे लिए कार्य करने वाले सहायकों का, उम्मीदवारों का विवेक और नैतिकता की अच्छी तरह से जांच परख किए बगैर उन पर विश्वास नहीं करते। आप मोह माया जाल के अधीन हैं और इससे उभरने के लिए और वस्तुस्थिति सत्यता जानने के लिए आपको कड़ा संघर्ष करना पड़ेगा। आप हाड़ मांस के बने ह्यूम का बुद्धि कौशल्य, उनकी खासियत, सामाजिक प्रतिष्ठा, सरकारी रुतबा, यह बाहरी स्वरूप ही देखते हैं। उसके पीछे की सत्यता, उनकी असलियत आप देख नहीं पा रहे हैं। मास्टर कहते हैं कि जैसे बाहरी तौर पर खुद को श्रेष्ठतर दिखाने वाले ह्यूम और अंदरूनी असली ह्यूम में फर्क है, वैसे बाहरी तौर पर खुद को कम आंकने वाले लेकिन अंदरूनी होनहार उभरते हुए उम्मीदवार सीनेट में फर्क है। इस बात से सीख ले और खुद को परखिए, नहीं तो आप एक दिन धोखे में आ जाएंगे। हमारी सबसे बड़ी समस्या है बाहरी दिखावे में शिष्य न फंस जाए, यह बात सिखाना। मास्टर कहते हैं कि आपको बेनेट का सिर्फ बाहरी रूप आपने बेनेट का सिर्फ बाहरी रूप देखा है, मैले नाखून और हाथ, उनकी गंवार भाषा जो आपके लिए अरुचिकर पहलू थी। नैतिक श्रेष्ठता या शक्ति सामर्थ्य का इस तरह से आपका मापदंड होगा तो कितने अर्हत या अचंभित करने वाले लामा आपकी गिनती में आएंगे। यह आपके आंखों पर पड़े भ्रम की एक पट्टी का प्रभाव है। मैले दिखने वाले बेनेट सज्जन दिखने वाले ह्यूम से कई अधिक श्रेष्ठतर है, जैसे आप जिससे प्रभावित है उससे भी श्रेष्ठतर है। यहाँ निवासियों को बेनेट का गंवारपन नहीं दिखता। हमारे बुद्ध जैसे मित्र मास्टर KH भी यहाँ के निवासी हैं, जिनकी पैनी नजर से वार्निश की चमक दमक को छेद कर उसके नीचे के लकड़ी के कणों को भी देख सकती है, वैसे ही चिपचिपे दुर्गंध युक्त सीप के अंदर के अनमोल मोती को देख सकती है। बेनेट बहुत ही सच्चे नेक इंसान है, साथ ही उनमें असाधारण नैतिक मनोबल है और खुद की परवाह करे बिना कार्य करते हैं। ऐसे व्यक्ति हमारे मास्टर KH पसंद करते हैं। वह ईमानदार है और कार्य करने में सदा तत्पर रहते हैं। वह एक फरिश्ता तो नहीं, पर हम एक नेक, उत्साही, हिम्मतवान व्यक्ति की मदद से खुश हैं, चाहे वह महिला ही क्यों ना हो। अपने आत्मविश्वास में सावधानी बरतना यह हमारा सिद्धांत है, क्योंकि हमें शुरू से ही एक सीख मिली है कि प्रत्येक व्यक्ति लॉ ऑफ कॉम्पेंसेशन के नियमानुसार अपनी स्वेच्छापूर्ण उच्चारित हर एक शब्द के लिए जिम्मेदार होता है। मास्टर सीनेट को पारलौकिक घटनाओं की चाह के मायाजाल से दूर रहने को कहते हैं। वे कहते हैं कि दुनिया में सभी गूढ़ विद्या के अभ्यासियों को हमेशा से ही उनके गुरु द्वारा इस बारे में चेतावनी दी जाती है। इससे आनंद मिलने पर मादक पदार्थों के सेवन की तृष्णा जैसे इसकी लालसा बढ़ जाती है। स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट भ्रम में डूबे हैं। स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट इस भ्रम में डूबे हुए रहते हैं। यदि घटनाओं के पीछे भागोगे तो हमारे तत्वज्ञान को कभी सीख नहीं पाओगे। यदि आप गहरे दार्शनिक विचार चाहते हैं जिससे आपको संतुष्टि मिलती हो, तभी हम पत्र व्यवहार करें। आपको एक गहन सत्य बताना चाहता हूँ। यदि आप प्रज्ञता को चुनते हैं, तब समय समय पर बाकी सारी बातें आपको ज्ञात होती जाएगी। हमारे पत्र आकाश से आपकी गोद में गिरते हो या आपके तकिए के नीचे आते हो, इस बात का हमारे तत्वज्ञान विषयक सत्यों से वास्ता नहीं है। यदि हमारे तत्वज्ञान में खामियां है तो कोई भी चमत्कार इससे ठीक नहीं कर सकता। इसे आप दृढ़ विश्वास से ध्यान में रखें और समझदारी से काम करें। आपने आजीवन कार्य को चुना है, लेकिन सामान्य रीति से अवलंबन न करके आप जटिल बारीकियों का सहारा लेते हैं, जो नौसिखियों को कठिन साबित होता है। मेरे भले साहिब, यह ध्यान में रहे कि यह कठिन कार्य है। मास्टर KH आपके लिए इस पत्र का अंत इन पंक्तियों से करवाना चाहते हैं। क्या यह पथ गोल घूमकर पहाड़ी के शिखर तक जाता है? हाँ, आखिरी तक। क्या आज की यात्रा संपूर्ण दिन भर चलेगी? हाँ, सुबह से लेकर रात तक मेरे मित्र। जैसे शरीर के लिए अन्न, वैसे मनस के लिए ज्ञान खाद्य है, विकास के लिए। जिसे संपूर्णतः आत्मसात करने के लिए पचाने की जरूरत होती है। यह प्रक्रिया जितनी संथ गति से चलती है उतनी ही बेहतर है अपने शरीर और मन के लिए। धन्यवाद। नमस्ते।
Meenakshi ji, thank you so much for this translation. And I now invite any questions from the participants. Please unmute your mic and you may put your question to Brother Krishna. Well, it does not seem any. I think this is a very deep letter. It needs a lot of contemplation on every individual's part. Krishna ji, is there any other important point you would like to especially emphasize on now for the participants?
We can't expect the masters to come down and appear. This is something which a lot of people are looking for. That doesn't happen. Perhaps we have to earn the eligibility. We have to do all that which cleanses us, which perhaps puts us, our consciousness, nearer to them by moving into their world rather than expecting them to come to our world. It doesn't happen. So even wanting to look at them with our eyes is not perhaps right, because we are more concerned with the wisdom, with the consciousness giving us the directions if we are very, very keen students of occultism. So we don't have to really bother about the physical attributes, whether he's wearing a long robe or his hair is golden. All this is not material, not relevant at all. So we should not pay too much attention, and the pictures which we have are also only indicative. They're not the real pictures of the masters. That's why I said the Masters in the Path, which has been written in 1925, maybe the descriptions of the, for example, the place where the piano is or the place where the dining hall is, maybe things have changed quite a bit, but that's only an indication. But we have to take care of all that more important thing than the physical description. So physical is not the most important thing. The actual important thing is getting nearer to the consciousness of the masters by raising our consciousness through our meditation. They maybe not just right through contemplative living is something which we'll practice, and that would perhaps give us a chance to maybe, yes, if not in this life, maybe the next life, we can go nearer to them.
Right. Thank you, Krishna ji, so much for taking the time today to be with us and throw light on this most important letter. So if there are no questions coming forth, I request everybody to stand by for the closing prayer. Shall we go ahead? Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.